Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you're absolutely addicted to the game of basketball like I am, I recommend clicking the red subscribe button down below and lighting up that post notification bell so you do not miss any future content on this channel. So today, I'm going to be talking about the Orlando Magic. And am I in love with the Orlando Magic? Do I absolutely love what they're doing? I really do like the Orlando Magic. They have young, promising pieces. Jamal Mosley has shown that he's gotten these young, promising players, or even a veteran like Gary Harris, to buy into his system, buy into his philosophy, as they made a big jump. We knew the season prior, just very unexperienced. You could say they had some talent, but not unbelievable talent that you're like, they're going to win games. But they won 22 games the season prior, and then they went on to improve this past season, the 2022 to 23 campaign, that they actually went on to win 34 games, and they got off to a very shaky start, and they're actually flirting with the play-in. Will that be the same scenario this upcoming season? Are they going to flirt with the play-in but not make the play-in? But I do think a big part of the Orlando Magic improving was obviously them being bought into Jamal Mosley's system, but then at the same time, you add Paolo Banchero, who's a number 1 overall pick. He's helping you win games. He's definitely had his bumps and bruises, which is going to happen. You're going to hit a rookie wall, and he showed some struggles in certain parts of his game, but he also averaged 20 points. He averaged damn near 7 rebounds and 3.7 assists per game. So he showed very good potential when it came to passing the basketball, crashing the glass. He's 6'10", built like a brick house, NBA ready body. As soon as he entered the league coming out of Duke, he could just bulldoze himself to the basket. He has a turnaround game. He could face up and shoot from mid-range, and he finished pretty well at the basket. He needs to get better as a free throw shooter, especially if he's going to continue to get there in his young NBA career. But he did show that he can self-create, but he can move off the ball a little bit. And what I like about this Magic team is that they know how to play as a unit, at least potentially, because obviously they held the 6th overall pick, and they held the 11th overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft, Anthony Black out of Arkansas, and then you selected Jet Howard. Anthony Black, the point guard, and then you selected Jet Howard, someone that could play off the ball at the 2 position out of Michigan, actually the son of Jawan Howard, who actually coached him, which is insane. But yeah, Paolo Banchero he was a 20-7 guy, averaged nearly 4 assists. He was very efficient finishing at the rim, but he needs to get much better as a 3-point shooter. That's a big part of his game. I do like that he could shoot from mid-range. I think mid-range is an underrated part of the game. We've seen DeMar DeRozan, he's a sniper from mid-range, or even guys that have shown that a mid-range shot can impact them and help them in the playoffs, such as a Jalen Brunson, such as a Jimmy Butler. We've seen in the past of Kawhi Leonard. It's still a very high-quality shot. Just because it's not worth 3 points doesn't mean it's not an important shot. That shot's going to be there, and it's still 3 points. Definitely if you're excellent from that territory. What's his ceiling as a defender as well? But it's hard when you're a rookie entering the NBA to be a good defender right off the bat. The speed, I'm not going to say the physicality because he's a strong dude, but when it comes to the speed and certain playbooks are definitely going to be different compared to the college game. You're going up against consistently grown men. You're not the only strong dude in this league, but Paolo Banchero with the number 1 overall pick, that looks like it's going to be a good pick. Definitely do think he's going to be an all-star, and we'll see if he's a true number 1 down the road, but it's hard to just read off of one rookie season. We've seen good rookie seasons in the past, and then it just goes downhill. I don't think that's the case with Paolo Banchero, but again, you've seen the improvement when it comes to the wins, them figuring out how to win games, and that's what you want to see with a young group, because I feel a lot of teams get passes. Oh, they're young, so yeah, it's okay that they suck. No, you got to hold these guys accountable, and you have a veteran like Gary Harris that has been in this league for a good amount of time, obviously with the Denver Nuggets. He was in the past. He's been a part of some somewhat successful teams, and he's an NBA veteran. So he's like, I still want to win games. I don't care that we're young. And there's times that they definitely flirted with the play-in. Am I in love with the construction of this Magic team? Not really, especially when it comes to the guard spot. But I love Franz Wagner. Franz Wagner just had an excellent second year in the league. Yes, excellent. That's how good I thought he played. He was a very good two-way player, averaged 18 points per game, and there's some size on this Magic team. Yeah, Paolo Banchero's athleticism. Franz Wagner definitely has some size as well. He's not a crazy athlete, but when he does get to the hoop, he can utilize he has a solid wingspan. He can go to the hoop and like posterize someone. I'm just saying he doesn't have that crazy burst or wiggle. So when he figures out angles, which he has throughout his NBA career already, when he figures out angles, navigating off of screens, somewhat pulling up from mid-range sometimes, and he improved as a 3-point shooter, shooting 36%, which is 1 above the league average at his position, and he shot 48% from the field. He was just very damn efficient when it came to getting to the basket, finishing at the basket, 80% free throw shooter. So he has very good touch, and he just has shown that he has good footwork on the defense side of the basketball, and I do think he's a winning player. I've liked what I've seen from him when it comes to Team Germany, so that's definitely good experience. Also, Paolo Banchero, that's good experience playing with some very good players. I know it's like not LeBron or Curry on Team USA, but you're still getting tons of experience when it comes to different roles and how you react to certain calls, because the calls are going to be different when you're playing those rules, when you can camp in the paint and you could knock the ball after it hits the rim and all that. But I'm a big time fan of Franz Wagner. I like what he brings to the table. He lets the game come to him. He doesn't force the issue. And Franz Wagner, I think he could be a potential NBA All-Star. So you have two potential NBA All-Stars on this team. Wendell Carter Jr., I think he's very, very solid. I like Wendell Carter Jr. I don't love him. He has good instincts on defense, but he did show the ability to pick and pop this past season, or he's always had that three-point potential coming out of Duke, but I felt like it was never really maximized. And then you see these pick and pop situations. He has good mechanics. He can shoot it from beyond the arc. He's a good rebounder, and he could block shots, and he's pretty mobile for a guy his size. He's an extremely smart player. He could have literally went to Harvard. That's how smart he was when it came to entering college, but obviously wanted to go the basketball route and potentially be drafted higher as he was drafted by the Bulls. So I like what they have at the center position. I like Paolo Banchero. I like Franz Wagner. And Markelle Fultz is an amazing story. I thought he played very well this past season. He averaged 6 assists this past season. He proved to be obviously a double-digit scorer, averaging 14 points per game, 4 rebounds, an active body, just very active body. He's had the shoulder problem in the past, didn't know how to shoot a jumper, and I feel he's just playing with more confidence. Maybe it's because he's in a smaller market, there's starting to be some stability, or just straight up being out there on the basketball floor healthy definitely does help a lot. But Fultz has proven that he could just elevate over anyone and shoot from mid-range territory. He has wiggle to get to the basket and throw it down, or finish with a lot of, if it's with finesse, protecting the basketball, like, faking he's going on one side and reversing, using the backboard for his protection. He can finish with finesse or strength. That's what I really love about Fultz. He's a very good calmness about the game. So you have players that let the game come to him, or let the game come to them. Paolo, sometimes he could force the issue, but I feel these are some pretty patient players that I feel really fit the mold of maybe what this Magic team is looking for when it comes to GM position. And obviously Jamal Mosley, they have unselfish players that love playing the game a certain way, and they can still get theirs if they really want to. But Fultz obviously has continued to show that he's a good passer of the basketball as well. He could pick your pocket defensively. He's a strong body. He's a pretty tall guard. And when you look at this Magic team, though, how's the floor spacing going to be? Franz Wagner shot 36% from three, but Paolo Banchero shot under 26% from beyond the arc, which is not very good at all. Markelle Fultz, does he elevate his game from beyond the arc? That would be awesome if we do see that. But they did have Gary Harris in the lineup that was actually an over 40% three-point shooter, so you could definitely count on him. He wasn't averaging double digits because he's not a big-time shot creator. A bunch of his shots are going to be coming off of screens and catch-and-shoot situations. But will Gary Harris be the starter this upcoming season? I definitely do think there is a chance due to an experience factor and just him being a veteran. Jamal Mosley wants to see this team continue to progress, but obviously they did draft an off guard or a shooting guard of Jett Howard with the 11th overall pick, which kind of shocked people. But I didn't completely hate it. I did like Jordan Hawkins. I did like some players that were on the board, like Grady Dick. Maybe he's better than a Grady Dick, but he's having a good rookie year, or he's really living up to expectations of Jett Howard if he does replace Gary Harris in the lineup at some point. But I'm just really confused when it comes to guard position. We're going to be getting back to Jett Howard, but you have Fultz, you have Suggs that you spent the 5th overall pick on, who was a guard that people thought was a steal coming from his program of Gonzaga, Drew Timme, etc. Coming from his program, he was the 5th overall pick that they just spent on him when it came to the year Scotty Barnes was drafted with the 4th overall pick. People thought Scotty Barnes was a bad pick. A lot of people were up and down on Jalen Suggs, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy, hasn't been a consistent three-point shooter. No, he's scrappy defensively, underrated passer, good athlete, and he plays with a lot of energy, but you've got to be able to stay healthy. Your best ability is availability. They spent the 6th overall pick on Anthony Black, who's a guard. You have Cole Anthony on this team, and you have Fultz that can't shoot the three ball, that's a guard. You have Anthony Black, who, coming out of Arkansas, not a good three-point shooter. I've shown some signs, but it's not consistent. Yeah, Cole Anthony could shoot the three ball, and his efficiency definitely went up. I give tons of respect to Cole Anthony. He's become a much efficient scorer of the basketball, which I give tons of respect to him for, because when he was coming out of North Carolina, a lot of people just thought of him as his chucker. But overall, like Anthony Black, Markelle Fultz, Suggs, you don't have consistent floor spacing from beyond the arc, and they're in the bottom of the barrel from 25 to 30 when it came to three-point percentage, while Paolo's struggling to shoot the three ball. Wendell Carter Jr., he's obviously shown progression, but I wouldn't call him a so-called like knockdown three-point shooter. Franz Wagner has improved, but yeah, it's gonna come down to Paolo, Markelle Fultz. Gonna come down to these guards. What's their potentials of three-point shooters? Because the mid-range shot's gonna be there, but you got to be able to hit threes in this league. It's a 3-and-D league. I know it's beyond that. It depends how your offense is being run, or you're getting easy shots around the basket. But Jet Howard, he's obviously someone that they're going to count on to hit threes. 36% three-point shooter coming out of Michigan. And I think they're going to have him come off of screens, pin downs. They're not going to have him create like crazy. Maybe they do. Maybe Jamal Mosey's like, go out there, show me what you've worked on. Are you more than just this three-point shooter? He's shown some ability to finish at the basket, but he's not a very efficient finisher at the basket because he shot 36% from three, but only 41% from the overall field. He struggled with physicality, struggled with finishing. He doesn't have a crazy burst, doesn't have crazy wiggle. I do think he's a little bit of an underrated athlete, but when he is creating, it's to go into a pull-up mid-range, go into a pull-up three, but he'll pull out a jab step, he'll pull out a basic crossover. It's not like he can't create separation at all, but if you're looking for crazy wiggle, crazy athleticism at that two spot, he's not going to bring that to the table. He did struggle to guard twitchy guards. Footwork needs some work. He's not a crazy athlete, but when it comes to adequate athletes, he kept up with them pretty good. But he plays extremely hard, and obviously Juwan Howard, who's his dad and coaching him up, he's gonna be set up for success in my opinion if he listens to his dad, but also listens to the coach as well. And he's not like some arrogant dude or anything like that, but he's proven that he can shoot the basketball. So I thought that was definitely a solid pick, but the Anthony Black pick just like it shocked me, but it didn't, because I thought it was good value. He didn't have crazy assist when it came to Arkansas, but he wasn't also playing with the biggest of teammates in the world, but he plays at the right pace. I mentioned this like with these other players. He knows how to come off the screens, the perfect timing, extremely great patience. He puts enough velocity behind a pass. He puts enough touch behind a pass when a teammate is diving to the basket. He gets the defense to collapse and kick out because he has shown that he's a good finisher. He's 6'6", 6'7". Some websites list him at different heights. I wouldn't say he's wiry. Needs to probably put on a little more weight, but he reminds me of like a lighter Josh Giddey at this point. He's a big guard that not a great three-point shooter right now. He's shown some signs of the mid-range, the floater to come off the screens. And Jet Howard has a little bit of a floater as well. And you're going to need that floater at the next level, especially if you're not a great three-point shooter. But he's also 6'7", and he's a solid athlete. But he likes to crash the glass. And I just noticed that a lot of these Magic players are active bodies. Fultz is an active body. He's constantly working. Paolo Banchero is an active body, constantly working. Wendell Carter Jr., Franz Wagner. You even have, not even just Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, who proved to be a 10-point per game scorer coming off the bench. When there's injuries, there may be potential of him starting, but he's an active body. Like, this dude is aggressive. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to go out there and attack you. So that's what I love. I feel like they have a mentality that they're very aggressive. But when it comes to the guard spot, how are they going to be? The floor spacing, is it really going to affect them? I think they're going to be a solid defensive team. I really do believe that. But with Anthony Black, what's his role going to be next season? Is Fultz going to continue to start? He earned that spot last year to start. That's how solid I thought Fultz was. But when you spend the 6th overall pick on Anthony Black, who's a guard, and I don't think he's a good enough shooter to play off the ball unless they really believe in his cutting, moving without the basketball. You just spent this, like a couple years ago, you literally spent the 5th overall pick on Suggs, but maybe Suggs is on the way out. Maybe they're looking to ship Suggs out of there. But will Jet Howard replace Gary Harris at some point this upcoming season? It's going to be very intriguing. I don't see playoffs, but they may flirt with the play-in, especially if Paolo makes a huge leap. Franz Wagner, I love his game, just very, very efficient, knows how to get to his spots, has kind of a baby hook sometimes when he gets around the basket as well, just very, very fundamental. They have a lot of fundamental basketball players, and obviously the game is different. Some guys play very flashy, but I've always thought of, someone made a really good point. I forgot who it was, but I think of the game the same way. A lot of people think, oh, I want this guy scoring off the dribble to show that he has a complex game. But sometimes people dribble too much and they don't get to their spots and take a bad shot. I don't care how you're getting to your spot. If you get to your spot and you're able to score, that's all that matters. I don't care how you got there, as long as your moves were very impactful. But I like this Magic team, and you just look at the overall roster construction, like Jonathan Isaac. Sometimes I forget about him. He recovered from that ACL injury, and he's expecting to play this upcoming season, but he's going to have to earn a spot. I feel he hasn't played consistent basketball in a while. We know he's a good defender. His offense game was starting to get going before he did get hurt, and then I believe he came back again. He just gets hurt so much. You just never know with Jonathan Isaac. I hope Jonathan Isaac, I wish him the best of luck if it's in a Magic uniform or it goes on to be traded somewhere else. But they do have talent, but the construction of this team, like, I'm uncertain with at the guard spot. But maybe the three-point shooting ends up being better than I thought. Joe Ingles was signed to a 2-year, $22 million contract. We know he's a 40% three-point shooter, but I believe he's just about to be 36 years old, or he is 36 years old. So can you count on him to stay healthy? He's definitely going to be even a step slower defensively as well. But Joe Ingles could definitely help out when it comes to shooting the basketball. Jet Howard, I don't know what his role is going to be this upcoming season. You even have guys like a Caleb Houston that when he was coming out of college, he went to Michigan. He is a very smooth shot. So Chuma Okeke, will his minutes go down? There's just so many new pieces that I'm really fascinated about when it comes to this Orlando Magic team. But maybe they're serious about the playoffs if they're keeping, or they're bringing in Ingles, who's like a veteran piece. They're like, we want to win games. We want to prove we have a good culture. We selected this guy first overall. We don't want to be in the lottery forever. We want to establish a good culture. Let me know down below your thoughts. Peace out, y'all.